as I was sharing more of some great things that my colleagues and I are doing, people started to pay attention and ask questions about them. As I'm sharing more information, people then come to ask me, hey, what's your advice on this? So that's a way that I'm gaining some credibility. We want to hear your perspective on this, Rachel. What are your thoughts on this? That then led me into being elected the state president of Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals.
If education sales has you second guessing yourself, take a breath. This is a trust-first, relationship-driven market, and the old tactics, they don't translate. This show replaces guesswork with clarity and a customer acquisition system that builds a pipeline you can trust. I'm Josh Chernikoff, two-time education founder with 2 exits and a lead gen coach for companies in education. Through my EdSales elevation experience over the last 2 years, I've coached 210 companies to leads on repeat. In 2025 alone, I delivered over 2,600 hours of coaching to education companies. My co-host is John Gamba. He also has a successful exit, and now he's the Director of Innovative Programs and the Entrepreneur in Residence at Penn's Graduate School of Education. This is the only show dedicated to customer acquisition for education companies, so consistent listeners go from stalled deals to clarity, credibility, and a pipeline they can rely on. This is EdSales Edge, where education company founders earn their edge. Welcome to a live version of the EdSales Edge. We're here at FETC, so you might hear some of that beautiful background noise of people collaborating. I'm here with Principal Rachel Edoho-Eket. She is a principal from Howard County, Maryland, which is close to Washington, D.C., but it's not exactly
Yes, a little bit,
DC.
about 20 minutes.
That's cool. So before we get into talking about credibility and who you are, just give us some background, few minutes here on how you got to this point in your career.
Yeah, my journey has been a lot of twists and turns, which makes it a lot more fun. I started my career as a kindergarten teacher. Never envisioned myself as a school leader, but I love teaching. So that's definitely a part of who I am and my family's legacy as well. I'm a 3rd-generation educator, so I always knew I wanted to teach, but we didn't have school leaders in our family, so that wasn't something that I ever aspired to. But with the help of some amazing mentors over the years in my life, they've just talent spotted and saw some qualities in me that they felt would be good as a school leader. And so I remember vividly one of my principals asking me, Rachel, have you ever envisioned yourself becoming a principal one day? And I said, I will never under any circumstance become a principal. Really? Well, the rest is history, because I did become an AP and transitioned to the principalship. And now over half of my career, I've been an administrator. So this is my 21st year in public education, 11 of which have been an assistant principal and a principal.
Oh, you used 2 words there that I have not heard before: talent spotted.
Yes.
So what I spotted in you and others have is this comfort level with being in the spotlight. The spotlight doesn't have to be as bright for everybody as it is for you. I tend to like the spotlight as well. But there is value, and it is necessary, especially when you're growing your own brand in the education space, or your business in the education space, for people to know who you are.
Yes.
And that not only means your professional life, but also your personal life can be valued. We'll get into all that later.
Yeah.
But just talk about your journey when it comes to stepping into that spotlight.
Yeah, so this is good to reflect upon, because even as a teacher, I remember, let's say some dignitaries were coming in. Let's say sometimes we had the mayor come in or something. My principals would always say, go into Rachel's classroom. My room was always well organized. The students were always on task. And I think that they knew they could count on an experience for people to come in and to see good teaching and good learning in action. And so sometimes there'd be reporters in the room, and that then led to interviews. I had opportunities to work in our district on some high-level district-level work, and that sometimes brought in press. So that was another opportunity. And even as a teacher, I had an opportunity to serve on a panel with the U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, at the time. And that was an incredible experience. One I did not take lightly, but at the time didn't really understand some of some of what comes along with that, with the press and the news articles. But I think when you are, and I'm someone who's very principled, when I'm principled in my work and when I'm authentic and I know that I'm working hard on behalf of our students, staff, and families, then I'm always happy to share and to learn from other people. And I think that comes along with when people see great work, they want to know more about it. When I see great work, I want to ask other people how they're doing it. And so it's really created a nice network of new people that I'm connected with. Different podcasts. Certainly writing books has helped me. Just putting my face out there a little bit more on videos and my speaking work. So it's been a great transition into what I'm doing now.
Yeah, the principled in your work and the folks that I work with and in our community, they are also principled in their work. A lot of them are principals.
Yes.
A lot of them are educators who have started businesses, or they're product people who maybe saw something in their kid and started a business that is now in schools. And I believe that you have to be principled in your work. You also have to be principled in your credibility.
Yes.
And you have to be consistent. You can't if you want to be successful with building your credibility and getting people to know you, for a couple reasons. One of them, the algorithm.
Yes.
But also for the way you do things, you have to be very consistent. Can't have these spikes. If something feels fuzzy or momentum has stalled, it happens. I get it. Text me directly, 771-333-4233. I read all of the text messages. Back to the show. I always think of LinkedIn, and you're active on LinkedIn, you're active on Instagram, in two ways. One of them, it's like a conference, like we're at now. You can own your own stage. You can also join other people's stages.
Yes.
Support them. It's also like going to the gym. You're going to the gym, you got to go 3 to 5 times a week if you really want to see those results.
That's true.
So how do you remain principled in your credibility and your content, and you're carrying around this
massive bad, yes.
How do you remain principled in that?
Well, I think what you said is true around consistency. I'm a student athlete, and I will always have that as a part of me. And it's the same thing. If I was going to be successful on the track or on the soccer field or in the swimming pool, because I used to swim as well, I have to put in the time and the work. And so I work very hard in my principalship during the day, and then after school hours are dedicated to this work and the work outside of what I'm doing in my school. So I really try to use my time very wisely. I am consistent, and it has really opened up a lot of new doors with meeting people from all over the country. And also, I always talk with leaders about spreading the good work that you're doing. I didn't set out to be onto stages or doing some of the things that I'm doing. Some of this happened kind of naturally as I was sharing more of some great things that my colleagues and I are doing. People started to pay attention and ask questions about them. As I'm sharing more information, people then come to ask me, hey, what's your advice on this? So that's a way that I'm gaining some credibility. We want to hear your perspective on this, Rachel. What are your thoughts on this? That then led me into being elected the state president of Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals. That also brings with it kind of a national presence and a statewide presence. So I've had an opportunity then to consult with leaders across other states. What's happening in your state? How can we bring some advocacy around the principalship and staff needs? So I think a lot of it has happened as I'm continuing to evolve and grow. And I think that's a natural process for anyone who's interested in growing and continuing to learn.
As an athlete, whether you're running or on a soccer field or swimming, there are going to be losses.
Very much so. I've lost more than I've won, to be clear. Yes.
So what about, tell us an example of a moment that you had as you were growing your credibility, where something didn't necessarily go right on camera or in a post, you didn't see it, and how did you then navigate?
Well, not even on that level. I think for me, just as a speaker, I submit proposals all the time that are rejected. And I knew very early on that that was a part of the process. Just like when I was an athlete, I've lost more than I've won. Now, I've run some great races in my career, but I've lost a lot. And I think that has helped to build my resiliency and my understanding that nothing happens overnight. And when I look at my mentors who have been in the business, people who are credible in their work, they've been doing this for 20 years. I feel like I'm still a baby in this business. I just started, 2 or 3 years ago. I published my first book in 2023. It was a self-published book, but it ended up being a bestseller because of the amazing people who supported the work and continue to amplify it. It was about being a principal and how do you transition from one role to another. And so I think that is a part of the process. It's never going to be perfect. Sometimes it's not going to be a straight line from point A to point B. And I think having an understanding that if we're doing good work with good intentions, meaning we are serving our students and our staffs and our families and communities, then we can't lose. There is no loss there. And so I feel in many ways, any opportunity that I have to help someone, that's a win. And that's my perspective.
Got it. Thank you. It's helpful to hear that, especially from an athlete.
Yes.
A very successful person who's doing this. You also several times have brought up your mentors.
Yes.
And the people who are around you. One of the ways that I encourage people who are less comfortable with the spotlight to begin to emerge on LinkedIn, through Instagram, is to just spend time commenting.
Yes, that's huge.
Just spend time
the engagement,
lifting other people up
100%.
until you are ready to post.
Yes.
You can just help others.
Agreed.
So talk about that as a strategy.
Yeah.
To get more.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would call it a strategy, but I definitely think that if you are passionate about a specific topic or someone else's work, amplifying their work is amazing, right? We all are doing great things. And if there's something that particularly speaks to you, then comment, engage with that person. I've built so many relationships with people simply by thanking them and letting them know how their work impacted me. And, people respond to that. You'd be surprised. There are some people that I thought I would never actually meet, especially because I've read their books over the years. I'm speaking specifically about people like Principal Kafele or Todd Whitaker. And in both spaces, I've been able to interface with both of these amazing giants in the field on podcasts and writing. So I think don't underestimate yourself. I think if you have that intention to learn and to grow, then people are going to be there to support. Yeah. And if you are learning from somebody else, then it's beautiful to acknowledge that and to thank them for the contributions.
It also feels good.
Yeah.
There are times where I think when you are building your credibility, when you're working on your content, and you're trying to be consistent with the LinkedIn gym,
yes,
the Instagram gym.
I love that analogy, by the way. It is
real,
definitely a workout.
Speaking of that,
yes.
You can also burn out.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Before we keep going, a quick pause. Let's talk about credibility. You might not have an offer issue. You might have a credibility challenge. Text the word credibility to the number below. We will send you the exact same framework that we use, that our clients use, to ensure that our credibility walks into the room even before we do. That reduces buyer stress and leads to faster deals. Text the word credibility to the number below. So how do you have you burned out, and how do you keep yourself from burning out potentially again, so that you just stay really enjoying this part of it?
I have burned out, definitely, not on the social media piece, but on my job. And so part of what I talk about now are what are some of the boundaries that we can institute to help our mental health, our physical health, and those things. And part of that is having an awareness of if you are getting to that point. So I spoke yesterday about boundaries before burnout, and one of the things it said was when to take a break, and it was 3 batteries. I saw it online, and I put it as a part of my presentation. I had a green battery, a yellow that was about half the battery, and a red. And it said, take a break at this point, and it pointed to the yellow battery, the one in the middle. And that's really important because we don't want to wait till we're in the red to take a break. We want to do it when we're earlier and able to capture ourselves before it gets to a detrimental place. And so I feel the same way about social media. If you're feeling like you're oversaturated, you can take a step back briefly. I wouldn't say take a break for weeks because I think that's too long, but sometimes it's just the awareness of I want to put my phone down for the day and try not to look at social media. That's hard to do, especially when we are so engrossed and engulfed in social media. But there are times when I just need a break. Even for me, if it's a couple of hours for a break, just taking that time to go outside, take a walk, be with my kids, be with my husband, do something, write something, like try to create more. That's when I that helps me with my sometimes of feeling like, oh gosh, this is a lot. When am I going to post tomorrow? You know, that sort of thing. Yeah.
The other thing I think that helps with that we work with our clients on, because I push this, you know, as their coach, like this is a part of it.
Yes, it is a part of the process.
Part of the
That's
process in the education space.
Yeah.
You're the principal. Most likely, especially for the companies I love to work with who are like 2 million and below.
Yeah.
You're still buying from
Still
that
building.
person,
That's
that
right.
founder. What systems are you using to plan out your content, to recognize a story? You know, do you have systems that you use?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I do is I auto-schedule my posts. So very rarely, unless it's something like I'm at a conference today, so that I will be more organic in that content. But I do think through the week, usually I post about 3 times a week. What stories do I want to tell? What's happening in our school that's amazing that I want to lift up? What's happening in our professional organization, MAESP, that I want to lift up? We just had 2 people win awards, so that's going to be part of my content in the coming week. So I do try to think holistically and like over a 2-week period, what do I want to highlight? And then I start auto-scheduling. So when it's done, I don't have to think about it anymore. Now, there may be some times when I want to change the order of something, but that's pretty easy to do. But ultimately, I might spend time on a Sunday just auto-scheduling out for 2 weeks content, and I keep going.
Yeah, set it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think you're hitting on what we talked about a little bit. There's the white noise of your continuous feed, which allows people to gain awareness. And hopefully learn from you.
Yes.
And that is the set it and forget it. And then there's events like this. And there's, you know, I'll tell you a story that actually can resonate from Maryland. I was a mascot.
Okay, love that.
Mountain Dewey the Dolphin.
Okay, in high school? College?
This was in college.
Okay, love that.
We were dolphins at the Baltimore Aquarium.
I love that.
It's really hard to see in the aquarium, especially when you're
Yes, it's dark in there too.
It's very dark.
It is.
Inside the thing.
And the building is dark. I agree.
There was a mascot walking around here.
Okay.
And so I went up and just said, hey, bro,
I love that.
I get you. And I'm going to write a whole story about that.
Yeah, that's
Because
cool.
I told him, I said, you know, to the mascot, hope you're smiling inside there. And I feel like you got to do that at a conference.
Yeah.
You know, we're tired. We'd probably rather be home with our families. If you just smile, then people are going to come up.
They do. They do. I know. You're so right about that.
Never know where the conversation
You're right.
goes. So I believe that it's important to have 2 tracks when you're building that credibility. There's that one that you set it and forget it and feel good about that.
Yeah.
And then there's those ones that you spot and you experience.
Yes.
Tell those stories.
Yes, definitely.
You do both, correct?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
So tell us, give us an inside look here.
Okay.
What's like the big post you're going to write coming out of FETC so that people can kind of see, okay, this is what I should look at my next conference or my next institute.
I'm actually getting ready to go down to the expo hall. And that's something that I was, yesterday I went down there and I was a little bit overwhelmed. And so today I have a plan to go and try to do a tour and to learn, get some pictures, get some videos, and just talk about how, as a leader, AI and some of the tech tools are something I'm still learning about, and how valuable this experience has been to be on the ground learning from real practitioners who are doing the work. So that'll probably be one of my posts coming up.
So you sounds like went in the exhibit hall, very similar to my experience. You were like, wow.
It was a lot.
okay, maybe not today.
Yes.
Came back refreshed. I've got a plan.
Correct.
You know some of these
Exactly.
go to.
Yes.
And then you're going to tie a story together
Yeah.
around AI
Yeah.
and how it's impacting you.
Yeah. I'm going to come back to that.
So it comes down to
Yeah.
having the right mindset, having a plan, and then having a system.
Yeah.
When you've got that for your credibility, it doesn't feel as overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And when you reframe it in maybe, I'll say one way, and I think your way. One way is that this is for your business. So at the end of the day, if you are growing your business, this is a part of it.
Sure.
The other way I think you were hinting at is that if you are not writing that LinkedIn post and giving people value, then they're not getting
Agreed.
value.
Agreed. Yeah.
So can you kind of talk us through that part that
Yeah.
you have to be there to help that?
Yeah, I mean, that's where I've written free ebooks. To me, I've learned most of my information for free. I've gone to the library, I've read about it. No one is charging me for this. People are giving me wisdom that for free, which I really appreciate. And so that's my philosophy. If people are giving information out freely, I should be doing the same thing. So if there's something that I'm doing that people are interested in doing, I'm going to give you that information freely, just like what we're having this conversation right now, because you can learn from other people. And you don't always have to pay for it. Like sometimes we get into this whole, you have to charge people for things. You don't. I think most of us have benefited from people who are taking the time, their time and energy to just share information freely. And that's my belief. So my posts where I'm teaching something or where I'm giving information have been very helpful. Or if I'm, writing an article or I've done an interview and I just share, I hope you all enjoy this. Let me know how it's impacted you or what are some of your takeaways. To see people, number one, taking time to read it, which I truly appreciate because everybody's busy. But two, taking time to comment and share some new insights is really exciting to me.
Last interruption before we wrap this show. I want to remind you guys the EdSales Elevation Experience is where we help founders develop and design lead generation machines that bring in high quality, high converting leads for their education companies on repeat. Get more details in the show notes. Now, let's bring this show home.
What I've worked with a lot of my clients on is that you, the principal, are not interested in them being salesy or pushy. And
Right.
wonderfully is that they're not interested in being salesy or pushy. But if you look at it from the fact that they are potentially coming in with an AI tool, for example, to coach you
Yeah.
on something that might help your students and your faculty, then while you might not buy in that moment, you will appreciate that they gave you some coaching and
Yeah.
they now know that they've done something nice for you, and you know that you can trust them.
Yeah.
Or you learn from it.
Exactly. Right. You've added some value, and that to me is the relationship piece. Everything that we do is relationship based in this system and of serving people. And I think it's the same with, you can build some really strong relationships online. That's one thing that I learned and have been learning. Initially, I was like a little bit weary about having a public presence because I never had one before. I was pretty much private, believe it or not. I'm actually a pretty private person, but I just have found so much value in connecting. And then when you get a chance to come to conferences, you get to meet people for the first time in person, which is so fun. I recently wrote a foreword for George Couros' new book, Forward Together. We have never met in person, but I met him on a podcast. He invited me on like 2 years ago to talk about my first book, and we've just maintained that strong relationship. So it was really cool to meet him in person finally. I'm like, oh, yay, you're really tall. And, we just had a nice moment. And that's what, to me, is very exciting about social media. I know it has its pitfalls, but I've had an awesome experience just meeting great people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been an awesome experience meeting you.
Thank you.
A couple years from now, you're not going to say to somebody, oh, I met Josh, he was really tall, because that's not me. So that's okay.
Well, I don't have my heels on, so we are, yeah.
You spared me there. But, I initially found you and I was like, I got to get to know her. because we
Thank you.
close and where we live.
Yes.
You know, so whatever the connection is,
Yeah.
whether it's education, whether it's, you know, we're both from DC, where you share, you know, where you
You have to make those. Right.
starts.
That's right.
And so I hope we've started a nice relationship. I really appreciate,
Awesome.
you know, kind of pulling back the curtain on your journey when it comes to, obviously, you know, the professional part, but this part about credibility and
Yeah.
being able to show that it does take a mindset, it does take a system,
Yeah.
and then it does take consistency.
Yes, and intentionality as well. You have to definitely, all of that speaks to intentionality, that we have to be thoughtful in what we're doing and how we're doing it. That to me will make someone very successful.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was great.
We're
Very
good.
cool. Awesome.
All we got to do now is go like that.
All right, that's it for this episode of the EdSales Edge. Thanks for joining us. If you sell into education, the goal of this show is very simple: to help you stop guessing what actually moves deals in a system where trust matters. If you want to go deeper, join us inside the Entourage, our private community for education founders and operators selling into schools. You'll see the details in the show notes. If this episode helped you think more clearly, that's great. Subscribe, like it, and share it with another founder in the education space. Until next time, get clear, build trust, set up a system for sales, and keep earning your edge.